Now then, what we saying everyone? JC back here again bringing you the latest golf content. This time we are in the land of the free and the home of the brave. That's right, the United States of America. And after a short 15-hour flight from Singapore to San Francisco, California, I desperately needed some fresh air to get away from the city pollution and the life in Singapore. So I stopped off to see a spectacular array of rocks and trees in the greatest national park that there is in America, Yosemite. Probably the most beautiful formation of rocks that I've ever witnessed. And since I was consuming on average 4,000 calories a day, I couldn't think of anything better than to burn some of that off with an 8-mile hike up one of those big rocks. Some of you may know already that San Francisco is host to the world famous Northwood Golf Course designed by the one and the only Dr. Alistair McKenzie. This for me was probably the best golfing experience that I've had today. If it isn't on your bucket list already, then you need to get this added. The next part of my trip was Orlando, Florida to see a nice big castle and a giant golf ball. By that point, I thought I'd earned a break, so I decided to kick back, relax, chill out in the Bahamas for a few days. It was only on the day 4, I think it was, sipping probably my 17th pina colada, that I came back to my senses and realised I needed to play some golf. So on we went to find some golf, and I met a nice fella called Han. He gave me a lift back to Orlando in his Falcon 2000 or something like that. A quick pit stop along the way at the IHOP for a healthy serving of pancakes, and I'm ready to play at Mission Inn Golf Club. So today I'll be playing the El Campeon course at Mission Inn Golf Club. This was designed by George O'Neill in 1917, and for a course that's over 100 years old now, it's definitely a course that has successfully stood the test of time. It's labelled as a historic golf trail, and I was really looking forward to this nostalgic vibe that it had about it. They do have another 18 holes on site called Las Colinas, which has been ranked as one of the better golf courses in the state, and it's even hosted some of the PGA events in recent years. But even on the drive-in, you can just notice that and just feel that this is something different. This is special. But look at this for service, guys. So I've just parked up on the left hand side over here, and a fine gentleman has just driven over a golf cart right to my car and loaded on the golf bags, ready to rock and roll on the course. It looks pristine. Let's hope for a good day. This was just one of many examples of the top-notch service on display at Mission Inn. You're made to feel welcome from the very moment that you arrive there. A swift and simple check-in process, super friendly people working behind the counter and at the starting point. It is just top draw service from start to finish. So I'll be playing off the white tees today, and I'm sure some of you at home might be thinking, why is he not playing off the blues if he's a single figure handicapper? Well, allow me to explain. Golf is a difficult sport to play. And when you're in a foreign country on a course you've never played or seen before, why would you want to make that even more difficult? I'm here for a good time, not a long time, alright? But please, you be my guest and you play off the tips and you shoot 25 over par if you think that's going to make you feel better. So, mindset. I'm going in here with no specific goals or objectives for me today, boys and girls. I don't want to be chasing numbers or getting fixated on a score to hit. Ideally, I'd like this to be a really stress-free round, but let's see how it pans out. Okay, so we got 247 in, probably the worst drive I've hit all holiday here in the US. Coming out very cold, to be honest, no warm-up, no practice, so what do you expect? Yeah, 247 in, par 5, so I'm definitely not going to go for it because I can't even really see the green from here with a slight dog leg, so I'm just going to lay up
not one down in the fairway.
So the intent and purpose of using a 7-iron over a 5-iron here is to make sure that I'm leaving myself a full wedge approach in, rather than a partial shot, which I've not practiced yet. And you can see here, not quite the best contact, and end up catching the tree just hanging over the cut of the rough here, but we're in the centre of the fairway and we've got a full shot on next. So I do find myself here with a bit of an outside chance of a look at birdie from 26 feet, putting downhill with a little bit of a slope and a break in it. To be honest guys, I'm not even thinking about trying to hold this putt. I'm just aiming to get this within, what, maybe 3-4 feet, and I'll take a par. I'll walk off onto the second and I build up my rhythm from there. So we've started off with a par on the first hole, nice simple little par 5, moving on to the next, a par 3. A little bit tricky this, 164, taking the 7-iron on hole number 2. There are bunkers in play as you can see here, both front right and front left. The pin is in the middle, kind of tucked a little to the left hand side. So as you can see from my stance, I'm aiming right of that pin. I play a natural draw shape anyway, so I'm aiming for a draw. And sadly don't quite get the draw. This one comes off pretty straight from here. I was hoping that I could catch a bit of the fringe and maybe just sit up. Unfortunately, it's sat down in the first cut there, and this is fairly gnarly rough that you can see just on the edge of where you step down into the bunker. So not the most favourable conditions for a chip. These ones I've had before, they can come out anywhere. They can come out hot. You can almost end up topping a few of these and getting your club tangled in the rough. But we managed to get it out onto the green. Not in the best spot, in all honesty, but I'm putting for a par. Yeah, very pleased with how that's managed to work out in the last hole there, walking off with a par, definitely against the odds. So again, let's hope for some momentum coming into this third hole. We've got a par 4, dogleg left now, 367 yard. Managed to actually catch this pretty well. It starts on the line that I was really aiming for, but I didn't quite get the carry, and I think I managed to catch the very top of the tree here, and it's just dropped straight down.
Okay folks, so we've actually just hit an absolute rocket over the tree line. Well, say over the tree line, didn't quite make it over the trees, and it's probably for the best because the group in front decided to do a U-turn midway through my shot. So yeah, it's a good job it hit the tree because otherwise it probably would have hit one of them as they were driving off and then doing a U-turn. So we got 166 to the flag, slightly downhill. I've got trees to contend with above me, so I'm just going to play a low punchy 8-iron. Hopefully get up to the front of the green, or even try and roll up to the middle. Pins at the back, so definitely deciding to club down on this one. So we've waited an extra couple of minutes for the group to drive off. I'm really hoping that they don't decide to do another U-turn and me nearly kill them, because we're in Florida. It's open carry in Florida, and I certainly don't want to get shot. not great. Down the left side, bit of a chunky pull. Okay, so we got about 30 yard to the flag, slightly uphill. Bit of an elevation change as it gets up to the flag as well. So I'm not going to go with a 58, I'm going to go with a 54. Hopefully try and get the ball rolling a little bit.
Putting is a part of my game that I've spent a lot of time working on the last 12 months, but it's often overlooked by so many people out there as it just appears a lot less complex than your 180 yard approach shot or a 35 yard flop shot. Where people often struggle is their putting management and strategy. Too often I hear the phrase never up, never in, and yes, whilst it's true, to that my response is simple: manage your expectations. On that last putt, for example, yeah, I left it 2-3 inches short, so I wasn't up, but I had a tap-in bogey from 17 feet away originally. Would I rather have a tap-in bogey, or would I rather have given it a chance and leave myself 5 feet coming back down the hill, potentially staring at a double bogey? For me, it's a very simple answer.
.285 to clear the bunker down the right, so it's definitely in range for me. Playing a bit of a fade today as opposed to my usual draw shape, so need to be very cautious of that and hopefully try and hit a fairway with it.
So by the fifth hole here, I recognise difficulties with the driver and the fact that it's not going to plan. And whilst I recognise that I'm now hitting a fade as opposed to a draw, my mentality tries to correct that on the tee box rather than just accepting it. I'm stuck in this limbo and I'm not committed to this shot. As a result, I put myself in more trouble again off the tee shot.
Gone from hitting fades to hitting pull draws. All good, thank you.
Now, tell me players, is there anything worse than having the cart girl watch you duff your shot into a bunker? And not only that, but having to lie and say that you're fine when actually you could cry at any given moment because of how badly this hole is going? Triple bogeys are never going to feel nice for any golfer. And I'm already thinking, I've ruined my card. Why did I pay $150 to play here? I should have stayed in the Bahamas. Where did it all go wrong? But where it really went wrong was going straight to the next hole without taking a moment to compose myself and clear my head. This is a classic case of the spiral effect. An endless loop of bad decisions. One bad shot leads to a sequence of many bad shots, and it all started on the last tee box. And this next shot right here is just another example of another bad decision. I'm electing to go with a 5-iron from 148 yard, trying to play something like a 15 or a 20 yard slice underneath and round the trees. It's a 1 in 100 shot that I'm going to get this on the green, and somehow managed to get it fairly close to the green. But if I'm playing the percentages here, it's a simple chip out onto the fairway and leave myself a simple wedge on. This one turned out okay, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Finally, bit of relief.
And yeah, as you can see, that is a literal sigh of relief. Fantastic wedge shot there with a 58 degree to stick it to just a couple of feet, and I'm managing to walk away with a par somehow.
So, long par 4, water's in play at 240. I'm going with a 3 hybrid.
So being forced into taking the 3 hybrid instead of the driver is probably a blessing in disguise as far as I'm concerned. You've seen so far, I've not been able to hit a single fairway with the driver, and this happened to be the first fairway that I was able to hit. I probably, in hindsight, should have taken the 3 hybrid or the 3 wood off the tee more often. So we're in a decent spot here. As you can see, centre of the fairway, it's 199 yard up to the flag. Flag's positioned towards the back of the green. I think when I measured it was 172 to the front, so 5-iron in theory should be plenty of club here. The problem, I think, is that the ball's slightly below my feet and I'm not really compensating for that, and I end up actually thinning / semi-topping this. Even after a few practice swings there, you can see that I'm barely even brushing the grass. So yeah, not the best swing or the best execution here, and puts me into a spot of bother. Now, a question for you viewers. Where do you think I went wrong with this shot? I'll give you a clue. Pay attention to my tempo. So here on the par 3, I find myself 46 feet away. I've got a really tricky left to right putt here, and from 46 feet, what are the chances of me making this? Maybe 1 in 50? 1 in 60? I don't know. But as most people will tell you, never up, never in, right? So would you rather be 6, 7, 8 feet past and give it a chance? Or would you rather just be 1 foot short and tap it in for par? My objective from 46 feet away it's never really going to be to try and make a birdie. I'm not John Rahm. Really, my objective is to try and make sure that I don't three-putt, because the reality is, at my level, there's probably a good chance that I will three-putt some of these, but the fact that I got this within 1 foot, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think that could have gone much better than planned. Manage your expectations. Now, any other day on a short par 4 at 326 yard, I'd be saying take driver. But here, the way that I've been hitting drivers so far, and with bunkers in play down the right at about the 200 to 220 mark, really, I reckon I should be taking a 6-iron. And that drive was so bad that it actually came up short of the bunker, less than 200 yard. So you can see here, ball sitting up very high actually on top of this wispy rough. I've got a 9-iron just because I know that this is going to come out very hot. It's going to be a flyer lie. Let's see. So as suspected, we ended up with the fly lie. Ball's gone a little bit further through the green than we would have liked, but we're putting through the fringe here. Ball's breaking left to right, uphill to start, then downhill at the finish. It's a long putt. Am I going to be happy with that ball finishing about 10 to 12 inches short of the cup? Absolutely. All day long, I will take that putt. And again, if anybody tells me, never up, never in, they're wrong. If I actually listen to that advice, and maybe put an extra 5 or 6 feet on top of all these putts that I've left just a few inches short, I'd probably be looking at more like a 9 or a 10 over par.
So, pretty painful back 9. Just looking at the scorecard now, we shot a 41, so a 6 over par on that front 9. I'm kind of lost for words. It's been a very strange and peculiar one. The last few days with the driver, it's been going so well, and today it's all over the place. It's like a military parade, left and right, mainly right. So yeah, I really don't know what's going on with this. So hopefully we can figure that out on this back 9. But still 6 over par, considering how badly I feel like I'm playing. I'm managing to get up and down a couple of times. Chipping saved me. Putting has massively saved me, but I've bladed a few wedges out there that I shouldn't be doing. Put myself in more trouble, more bother. So yeah, I mean, it's a case of, I think, relax, reset this back 9. I've got absolutely nothing to lose at this point. So let's see what we can do out there, and just try and enjoy it now. I think I've not really enjoyed that front 9 so much. So I think the aim and the goal of this back 9 is just to go out there, relax, relieve some of this stress and tension that I've got building up, and just try my best to enjoy it. Let's see how we do.
Golf isn't always going to be glamorous. We'll have our bad days more often than we'll have our good days, so managing expectations isn't just about having a plan for each hole. It's also about not being too hard on yourself. I always beat myself up pretty badly here for only hitting 1 fairway on this front 9 because it didn't meet my expectations. But on the other hand, I could take positives away from my putting, which actually exceeded expectations. 4 1-putts and 0 3-putts, they're great recovery stats. Whilst we have to recognise and critique the bad parts in our game in order to improve, we should also look to celebrate the positives. Don't be too hard on yourself. Playing golf is always a lesson. We just have to be willing to learn.